highly substantive. And but I think that hearing from two technology companies is very, very important. And then we're probably going to resume. I want you to hear them from successful distributors in the industry. Will be coming up next about he's the sort of person you should be looking for, not him, but he'll tell you how to get that person. Okay?
Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon. Come on, I know everybody had the pasta. Everybody's tired. Well, let's try it one more time. Good afternoon. You know, I appreciate what Solomon said earlier of 7 to 12 months. That's a scary thing to think of. You're going to spend a lot of money and a lot of time with the potential of closing in 7 to 12 months. You know, for the last 20 years, I've been involved in the launch of over 1,000 network marketing companies. And today, only 10% are still in business. 90%, over 900 companies in 20 years, didn't survive. So I want to give you some things to think about today when you're talking to your potential MLM software provider, who really is your partner. They're your IT team. They're the extension of your business. This was actually, it's not my picture, but about 3 weeks ago I had to go to the dentist. And it was a scary feeling because I wasn't sure what to expect. I knew it was going to be painful. And I thought, this is a lot like buying software. You don't know what to expect. You're thinking it's going to be painful. Like we said earlier, you don't know what you don't know, right? So this is an education process. This should not be the feeling when you go to a software provider. It should not be a feeling that you have the relationship with your MLM software provider. It should be the picture on the right. You should feel like you're being served. It should feel good. So when you're first talking to that software provider, if you don't get a good feeling, make a few other calls. I'm hoping that you're going to pick either Trinity or MultiSoft. If you Google MLM software, anybody ever Googled MLM software? I did it about an hour ago. 909,000 results. 909,000. There's really about 10 companies in the United States. It's amazing how many overseas in India, because most of you want to work from midnight till 9 in the morning, right? No? Okay. So, let's hope that's not the feeling you get. How many have ever gone on a car lot to buy a car? Come on. Who doesn't? You don't have cars? What's the first question out of the salesman's mouth? What's your budget today? How much are you prepared to spend on a car? And how many, by a show of hands, have ever walked off the car lot spending less than what you told the sales guy? If the first question out of the mouth of the salesperson that you're talking to is, what's your budget? Light your hair on fire and run out of the room. Because I can guarantee you, they're going to extract that and more. If you say my budget's $10,000, they're going to get 15 or 20. What you want to be focused on is what is the value that they provide. I can tell you, in watching over 900 companies in 20 years go out of business, I know why they failed. And it wasn't necessarily software. In fact, only a couple times may have been software. Greed, stupidity, arrogance, and ego. Those are the reasons that they go out of business. And that encapsulates a lot of different things. What's the software going to cost? First question somebody asked me today, how much is your software? Instead of, what's the value that you're going to provide? What's your experience in the industry? What's coming up in technology? Because as Ben said, 10 years ago, and I've been a distributor, I've been an owner of an MLM company, now I'm a provider, so I've done everything. 10 years ago, we were faxing applications, and anybody ever use a fax machine? No? Wow, I must be really getting old. There was no replicated websites, there was no real-time everything, there was no instant on, instant meet, instant expectations. What's the software going to cost? Find out what you need first. That should be the first question out of the software provider's mouth. What do you need? I'm actually building a house right now that when I go home breaks ground on Tuesday. We're already 3 weeks behind. Who ever heard of Hurricane Irma a couple weeks ago? You think you should plan for unplanned expectations? When I went to buy the house, they didn't say, what's your budget? They said, what do you need?
The very first thing you mentioned was, I remember correctly, you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. So this is an education to teach you don't know what you don't know. And really, this is a relationship. And I'm going to talk about the relationship in just a minute. I like pictures because pictures say 1,000 words. These days, video says a lot more. When are you going to launch? Jim Rohn. Who knows who Jim Rohn was? Jim Rohn had a really great saying. I love this saying. When it's sunny outside, you don't think about the leak in the roof. But when it's raining, it's too late. You have no idea how many clients come to us, and I'm sure Trinity as well, they'll shake their heads. We started recruiting distributors 45 days ago. We don't have any product to ship, but we have to pay commissions. We need software yesterday. How many think that those expectations were properly managed? Don't wait until the roof is leaking to then call the software company. So many people think it's like going to the dentist because you don't know what you don't know. And it's a scary thing. It's a scary proposition. We're here to be your partners. We're here to guide you down the road and solve those things that you don't know what you don't know. Because let's face it, you're entrepreneurs, you have a product, you have a service, you have a dream, you have a vision. You have people that believe in you. The last thing you want to do is worry about your technology. You want to worry about getting your products in the hands of people that can use them, right? Okay? Make sure that it's a mutually managed expectations in the relationship. Don't wait to the last minute to buy software. Talk to your provider. Don't just wait until the last day. Remember I said it's like a relationship? Who's married? Who's ever been divorced? Been there a couple times in my life too. Talking to a software provider or working with a software provider, working with a vendor is a relationship. Relationships are paramount. It's not if you're going to have a problem with your software. It's when. There's going to be a problem. There's going to be something that you expected it to do that it doesn't do. There's going to be something that's out of your control, out of the software provider's control. Anybody ever read recently about Equifax? Got hacked? 200 million credit cards. Do you think Equifax had planned for that? Do you think they had the things in place to hopefully avoid that? And yet it still happened. Unexpected things happen. It's a relationship. When you're first talking to myself or Trinity, as I said, hopefully you're going to pick one of us on the phone. You want to make sure it feels comfortable. You're not being pushed. It's like dating. Make sure it feels comfortable. Age does matter. All we got to do is look at Harvey Weinstein these days. Age matters. Software matters. The age of the software matters. This is a romance also. I saw a few hands go up when you talked about divorce. The average network marketing company goes through 3 MLM software providers before they find the final provider. If you're going to get divorced from your provider, make sure you've got a contract that you own your data. If I had time, I'd tell you horror stories of companies that have come to us from failed software providers, and they found out because they didn't read the lines in the contract. They just signed it because they were so excited to start recruiting distributors and getting those products out there. They didn't read the contract to find out they didn't own their data. Or to get it back, it was going to cost them $10,000 or $20,000. It's the last thing you want to hear if you have to leave the software provider. You know, we were talking earlier with Trinity. We've spitballed clients back and forth over the years. It's just part of the nature. We never held a client hostage. Yet there are companies out there that will hold you hostage. So if you don't use one of us, make sure that whatever your company you're working with, that you own your data, that you've got access to it, that you're not being held hostage. So if and when you do have to get divorced from your provider, you've got access to your data. Otherwise, you're out of business. And at that point, they really don't care. If you're leaving, there's a reason why you're leaving. They're really not vested in your success, are they? At that point. Compensation plan. I know Mike was talking about compensation plans. Garvin's talking about presidential founders clubs. And I know some people out there are like, what? I don't get it. Who do you want to understand your comp plan? Make sure that the software provider And nothing against overseas software providers. I've worked with companies in India and Russia, Ukraine, Malaysia. It's amazing how often they say yes. Do you understand how the comp plan works? Yes. Are you going to program what I've given you? Yes. Is it going to calculate commissions on time? Yes. We actually just picked up a new client a couple weeks ago that worked with a software provider for 3 months, and then they went to calculate the commissions, and the software provider went, "What commissions?" Had never read into the contract that there was a compensation plan, and they were in emergency mode. Because the answer to the questions was yes, 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 because most salespeople that are not us see the dollars. They don't see the value. We see the value. It's a long-term relationship. Do they understand the comp plan? Words like binary, matrix, unilevel, coded bonus, matching bonus, generational bonus, breakaway bonuses. You know, the breakaway takeaway that Mike mentioned. Make sure that they understand the comp plan. I said earlier to somebody, make sure that your software provider is asking more questions of you than you are of them. And during lunch, somebody actually called me to carpet because they were asking me more questions before I got a chance to ask them. Make sure that they understand that compensation plan, because that's the one thing you don't ever get a second chance at as a first impression, is that comp plan. You need to pay commissions on time, every time, and all the time. I know when you work with us, and I assume when you work with Trinity, we run the commissions at least a couple weeks before they're expected to be paid out. So make sure that your software company understands every nuance of the comp plan, and more importantly, that you do. I've seen a lot of companies come to us, so, like I think Garvin or Mike said earlier, they went out and they did their research, took a bit from here, bit from here, bit from here, and they gave it to us. And do you understand your comp plan? Absolutely. We program it. Commissions start getting calculated. Distributors don't think they're getting paid right, and they come back to us and say, Johnny didn't earn what he thought he was going to earn. Okay, did you tell him why? No. Why not? Well, we don't understand our plan. Well, why not? Well, we just copied it from somebody else. Make sure that you understand your comp plan as well as that software provider. And kiss it. Keep it simple. You can always add to the comp plan as you go down the road. You can always add those new bonuses, that generational bonus, that infinity bonus, that breakaway, that fast start. Make sure they understand what they're programming. Make sure they can relate it back to you as well as you relate it to them. How do they handle support? How many of you ever called AT&T, Comcast, your bank, and the person on the other end of the phone is they're eating lunch, or hang on a second. About 20 minutes later, they come back. Make sure you've got a software company that's going to support you. Not 9 to 5. How many of you think this internet thing is just 9 to 5? It starts at 9 in the morning, closes down at 5 o'clock. Saturdays and Sundays were closed. Anybody think that's that? Guess what? Your distributors, your customers, they're shopping 24/7, 365. I've placed orders on Amazon at 11 o'clock at night. That's when people are shopping. That's when people are buying. That's when you need support. Make sure that if there's a problem, not if, but when there's going to be a problem. That's why we build upon relationship, just like we do a marriage, that when there's a problem, we've built a good enough relationship to get through it. Make sense? Nod a head, yes, no? Okay. How many of you are planning on getting to just $100,000 a year and then stopping? Show of hands. How many of you are planning on getting to just $100,000 a year in business and then stopping? Not planning on growing. Just going to be good with the 100,000 or maybe $1 million. Maybe you get to $1 million and you're good and you're not going to grow your company anymore. I don't know about you. I like making money. I'm in business to make money. I like the lifestyle that money provides myself, my employees, my family, my friends. You're not in business to get to a certain level and stop. Your software shouldn't be either. So when you're talking to a potential software provider, other than us, because you're going to do some research, make sure that they're going to be able to handle your growth. What does that mean? Well, today, your software can handle 20,000 distributors. And I know both of us have gotten companies before that got to 20,000 distributors, and all of a sudden the software went and just broke. Couldn't put in another distributor, or you saw the wheel of death timeout because the software was not planned to grow. Amazon, $140 billion in online transactions or sales. Do you think they built that thing for growth? You think Jeff Bezos ever said, we're going to get to 5 million, just stop? They built the software to grow. Make sure that your software provider is going to grow to what you need them to be. And it's okay to start with maybe a software provider if you don't work with us. They can only get you to 100,000 distributors, and they know at that point their database is going to die. Not going to be able to calculate commissions, not going to be able to insert orders, not going to be able to transact business or add more products. Make sure that you ask them, what is the growth potential of the website, the software, the database? If we get 100,000 people that hit it right now, is it going to crash? Find out what the growth potential is if they're able to grow with you, because I know none of you are in business to get to a certain point and then stop. That's called a job, not entrepreneurial. What's the technology that they're using? Terms like HTML, ASP, .NET, PHP, Cold Fusion, terms that just confused all of you, right? Some of you know the technologies. A lot of software companies out there that have been in our industry for years are still using the same technology they did 20 years ago. Do you think that's built for growth? Think that's going to get you on social media? Because what's coming out a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now in technology, we don't even have a concept. I'm still just figuring out Snapchat with my kids right now. Trying to figure out how I can advertise on it. Are they going to be able to support third-party integration? Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned this earlier. At the end of the presentation, see either Andrew or Jackie at the back of the room, and we'll give you a copy of the presentation for free. We'll email it to you, so you don't need to be writing down notes, those of you that are. Are they going to be able to integrate with third parties? You're going to hear from Ben, Naxum. You're going to hear from Credo, Technology Solutions. You need to be able to integrate with technologies that you haven't even thought about. Does the software, the underlying code, the underbelly, the technology, the servers, allow you to integrate with third-party technology? And I mean, how many of you are going to be in physical products, shipping physical products? When you get to that growth factor that you need to outsource your warehousing, or get an ERP solution, or get a really critical warehousing logistical solution, are they going to be able to integrate with it? Because if not, you're dead. Have they built the software for your growth in technology? When are they going to do updates on the software? Are you going to pay for the updates? A lot of software companies issue what's called an iteration of their software. It's called versioning. You get version 1, you get version 2, you get version 3. Oh wait, we did some updates. So let me go back to you. Do you want to pay for the updates to version 1? No. You want to pay for the updates to version 2? You want to updates to version 3? You want to pay for? You don't want to pay for updates. Make sure that when the software is updated, enhanced, new features, new benefits, that those technologies are going to be rolled out into your software, that you're not going to have to pay for them, or understand that you will have to pay for them and what it could potentially cost you. Because the software technology is coming out. Like Ben said, 10 years ago, faxing in orders. We didn't think about social media integration with Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and all of a sudden Google show up one day and say, guess what? Mobile websites are going to be ranked higher than non-mobile websites, and all of us are spinning on a dime to get your websites mobile. So make sure that that technology is going to be able to grow. How many of you are just going to be based in the United States? Show of hands. Okay. How many of you are going to sell just to people that speak English? Wow. So you actually want to go international, because I'm actually an international software company, because there's 7 billion people outside the United States that want to buy your products and services potentially. That's why I went overseas 7 years ago with our software. Make sure that that software company is going to be able to give you the languages that you want, the currencies that you want. Because I don't know about you, if you're selling to somebody that's living in Singapore, they're going to want to pay with Sing dollars, not US dollars. United States, I've got a client that we're talking to, it's in Canada. It's going to be in the United States, but I know in the United States they don't want to pay with Canadian dollars, they want to pay with US dollars. So make sure that your provider is going to be able to grow with you as you grow outside the country that you launch in. Is this good information for you guys? You getting some things that maybe you hadn't thought about before? Because I want to make sure that I'm giving you good value for the time today. Is it scalable? A lot of people sell you software in a box. It's going to get you up, it's going to get you launched, it's going to get you distributors, it's going to get you customers, but it's not flexible. You can't scale up. And that's okay. If you're going to be, they say there's over 10,000 network marketing companies worldwide. 9,500 you probably never heard of, and maybe only 25 that you can spit off your tongue. A lot of my clients that I've got overseas, generating millions of dollars, not many people have heard of them. But they didn't buy a box software. Make sure that the software is scalable for you. I've talked a lot about growth, but it's really important because I don't think any of you, because I didn't see hands go up, are planning on just getting to a certain point, stopping, and going on the beach and drinking Mai Tais, right? We all want to do better. Okay, there's a saying, when we stop learning, we're dead. We just haven't been made official. So you want to continue growing your company. International, I mentioned, if you're going to launch in the United States or launch in Mexico or launch in Canada, make sure that it's more than just languages and currencies. True international software has nothing to do with languages and currencies. True international software means that in Canada, you've got a different payment gateway, a different product, a different enrollment option, different terms and conditions, different policies and procedures, different privacy policy, refund policy, spam policy. In Singapore, you've got a different logistical shipping system. When you go to Hong Kong in the website, it automatically defaults to Hong Kong dollars. Simplified Chinese, but that people can change it. That you can have different pages per country, different menus per country, different content per country. Everything different on a country-by-country basis, feeding a common compensation plan. That's true international software. So when you're talking to software providers and you ask them, is it international? Make sure it's more than languages and currencies, because a lot of them will just be like, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is, because they're trying to get the sale. Make sure that it's in the contracts, the agreements, what I talked about, the divorce. Make sure it's in the dotted line that you're going to sign. Again, back to growth. What type of training and support are you going to get from the company? Do you have to pay? Solomon mentioned this earlier. Do you have to pay for support? If you call after hours, do you have to pay for support? Do you have to pay for training? Do you have to go on site to their location to pay for training? Is training even available? Can you come to their offices for training? How are they going to service and support you? The picture on the left kind of describes it. The warranty ran out. The picture on the right, always helping. Which picture do you want to be a part of? Support is critical. I'm telling you, after launching so many companies over the years, it really is not if there's going to be a problem, but when. By show of hands, anybody here had a 100% perfect marriage, not one argument, not one issue? No, it doesn't exist. We don't live in that world. There's going to be a problem. Make sure that you're the one on the right. Make sure you understand what you're going to get from that company. Are you in control or are you being controlled? How many of you are going to roll out with a website today and a year from now it's going to be the same? No new products. No new pages. No new content. But now all of a sudden you want to add pages, you want to add menus, you want to add content, you want to upload a video. Are you in control that you can do it? How many, by show of hands, have ever heard of WordPress? How many of you ever built a website? How many of you have been able to update the website, add pictures, add pages? You're going to want to do that on your time and not when the software company decides to show up and go to work and when they're available. This is your business. Make sure that you're in control. When you want to add in new products, new pages, new shippers, new enrollment options, that you don't have to pick up the phone and call the software company and get charged to do these things. Because there are software companies out there. Like I said, you Google 909,000 results. There's companies in India, you can get software for $849. How many of you think for $849 you're going to build $1 billion business? Nah, not going to happen. Make sure that you are in control, that you've got the ability to run your company, that you're not being controlled. Who's got a phone here? Who went on Facebook today? Who ordered something off Amazon this week? Who sent a tweet? God, I wish I'd take away his phone. And you all know who I'm talking about, don't you? The technologies that exist today are completely different than what existed, has been said 10 years ago. Mobile is where everything's at. Everything today is in the palm of your hands. Now, as a company, you're not going to run your company on mobile phones. You're going to have computers, you're going to have desktops, you're going to have tablets, etc. But today's smart, savvy internet purchaser is on mobile. Make sure that your website is going to work on Android, on iPhones, on tablets, on computers, on big screens, because everybody's looking at your website a different way. Some people use Chrome, Netscape. Everybody's using different technologies to get to your website. Does your website support all of these technologies? Because everything is going to be done on mobile at a certain point. Apps are really cool, and apps that work for marketing are really cool for your distributors, but your customers aren't going to download an app. How many of you have deleted more apps than you put on your phone? I know I do. Apps are cool, but mobile website technology is where it's at. And make sure, who knows what a replicated website is? That your distributors are going to want. Make sure that the mobile websites are replicated. Important thing to look at. I know with Trinity and MultiSoft, our websites are mobile. They are replicated because that's not, your distributors demand that. Your customers demand it. Not if, now. You got to have it. And it's amazing. Some of the billion-dollar baby companies out there in MLM, you look at them, they don't have mobile websites. It amazes me when I look at some of the old antiquated software that's out there. Again, social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram. So many different technologies coming out. Is it going to be able to be integrated with social media? You're going to hear from Credo about social media gamification and how we can actually use social media to drive traffic. I can tell you this also from being a distributor and working with some big leaders in the industry, guys and girls that are making, $2, $4, $10 billion a year. There's a right way to use social media, and there's a wrong way to use social media. And if you put your company name or your product on social media or give your distributors free rein to talk about your products, what's the first thing somebody's going to do? They're going to Google your product. Maybe somebody said something bad. They're going to Google the company name. Oh my God, that's a pyramid scheme. Everybody uses social media different, but make sure that your technology is going to be able to bring on the next and latest, greatest social media platform, because I have no idea what's coming out. Some 18-year-old MIT graduate getting $1 million a year to sell his application to Microsoft, and you're going to want it integrated into your software because that's the greatest thing. And you're going to lose that one distributor if you don't have it. It's not if it's going to happen, it's when. I get some of the strangest calls, and I'm sure Trinity gets the same thing, of things that people, I've got to have this or we're going to die overnight. Well, nobody's ever heard of it, but we've got to have it. It's the latest, greatest thing, we've got to have it. Make sure the technology at least is going to be able to support it when you want to add it to the software. Solomon mentioned 4 things. I've actually got a list of 10 things, and it is that, shiny balls on the tree, the bells and the whistles. What do you need to launch your website? 10 things, and you'll get a copy of the presentation, but there's 10 steps, 10 things. You need a website, you need a logo, you need a site design, you need a compensation plan, you need products and services. You need to be able to ship them, have enrollment options, send emails and texts, have merchant accounts to take money, and perhaps a way to pay the money out as well. Send a check, do a commission payment platform. If all they're describing to you when you're talking to them, other than us, is look at all the really cool gizmos and gadgets and stuff in the back office that nobody's ever going to use, but it's going to result in so many phone calls for support, because your distributors are going to want to know, hey, this is really cool, how do I use it? And you have no concept, because all you care about is selling your products, enrolling distributors, paying commissions, right? Lipstick on a pig. Lipstick on a pig. Like I said, 909,000 websites, and I've looked at a lot of them out there, and it sounds like they've got some really cool tools, but you know what? They're talking about the tools. They're not talking about what you need. Replicated websites, sell products, enroll distributors, calculate commissions, and make money. Because that's what we all want to do, right? As you grow, add in the cool tools. Be the cool kid with the new tools. You don't need them all today. Focus on the basics that you need today. And don't let a salesperson, because that's the first person you're going to talk to, tell you all about the cool tools. Let them talk to you about what you really need for your distributors, your customers, your owners. Now, I know Solomon mentioned that you don't have to have a beautiful website, but you have to have a marketing website. I disagree a little bit. I think you need to have a beautiful marketing website. You never get a second chance at a first impression. How many have ever gone to a website, took 2 seconds, looked at it and went, yuck, and left? These days, 10 years ago, it was okay to have a website that really wasn't that good looking. Today, WordPress, anybody can build a good looking website. What you don't need to do is overcomplicate what's on the website. You want to drive people as quickly as possible to your enrollment page, your product page, and your login page. I have one client in Europe, they've been spending 3 months so far on their website. They could have launched and started enrolling people, but they're so addicted to that website that it's taken them 3 months to get to where they're at today. So I do think you need to have a beautiful marketing website that gets people to your products, gets people to your enrollment options. Ask for a demo. Ask the software company you're talking to show you some examples of live clients. Some clients we have NDAs with, we can't show it to you. I'm sure with Trinity as well. But some clients have said, hey, you know what, we're really proud to let you show your potential clients the website. Look at some demos, some live clients. There's a lot of Asian companies, nothing against MLM Software in Asia or India. Again, if you want to work from midnight till 9:30 in the morning, go for it. Most of you want to sleep during that time. There's some really cool sites out there that all they are is demos. They're not real companies, and they don't have any real clients on their websites. Take a look at the back office of a real client. Ask them to set you up with a demo. See what's underneath the hood. These days, I drive a nice car. I have no idea how the engine runs, but at least I open the hood to see that it has an engine. There's some software out there that doesn't even have an engine. Like I said, the client that came to us a few weeks ago, no commission engine. And they thought they already paid for it. In closing, success is no accident. It is hard work. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, I got to tell you this, love what you do. If you're focused on just making money, do something else, because you're going to impact lives with this. If you're focused on providing value and service to others and empowering other people to live their dream, families to make an extra $1,500 a month, that changes lives. That's why we do network marketing. I have a simple saying that I raise my kids with. You have to give what you've got to get what you give. So if that's what you want to do, start a network marketing company. Make it powerful. Help other people. Do I have any time for any questions? I have time. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
First, I want to say thank you. I've been working with you for some time now, and I have figured its success. Not there yet, but your company has been a great part of this, and you're the reason why I'm here. So I'm very grateful, right? My question for you is: in this time and age that identity theft and hacking is such a big issue, I haven't heard anything to do with level. I haven't heard anything when it comes to hacking.
Okay, so what Orient's asking, good question, is when it comes time to today's technology with hacking. I mentioned Equifax, breach of 200 million credit cards. Ask your software company if they are PCI DSS, and you're going to hear this from Scott later when he talks about merchant accounts. Make sure, and thank you for the question, make sure that your credit card data is encrypted, that your software provider cannot see it in clear text, that their administrators cannot see it in clear text, that they are not storing the 3-digit code on the back of a Visa or MasterCard, or the 4-digit code that's on the front of the American Express or Discover. They cannot store that information. Also, make sure that passwords are fully encrypted. As good as we are with technology, You know, I know Jerry's got his own server farm. I know we outsource to a cloud environment, 2 different technologies, but they work. But in today's industry, the next 16-year-old kid that's smarter than me is going to be able to hack it. Who's ever heard of Anonymous? Hackers. They're anonymous because none of us know who they are. You want to make sure that your data is as safe as possible and that you own your data. You want to make sure that you're working with a merchant account provider and a software company that is PCI DSS encrypted and that they have scans run on their servers and their software every few weeks. Thank you. Next question, anyone? Wow, either I was that good or I was that bad. Go ahead.
Does anybody provide multi-factor authentication either for the administrators?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Multi-factor authentication, does anybody?
Okay, so what he's asking for is multi-factor authentication. Who's ever made a change to a password on a credit card or a bank account and something gets sent to your phone? That's what he's asking about. That's called two-way authentication. It's a new technology that we're starting to see. Good question. We just started programming for this about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we should be rolling out two-way authentication within the next probably 30 days. That is a really good security method. I'm not sure if that's something Trinity's got, but the industry is changing. So two-way authentication, multi-authentication, where if you're going to change a username, a password, a credit card, it either sends a text to your phone that you've got to confirm with a code, or it sends you an email. Do I have time for one more, Jeff? Go ahead.
Are you at liberty to give us an example of some of these MLM companies that you feel that you've done, that you feel have the replication and have the right look?
So he's asking us, do I have any clients that I'll show? I have a dance card back there that's not quite full. If you fill up the card and we talk, I'll give you some information. Okay, I thank you guys for the time. Thank you very much.